Hi, this is Wayne. I'm going to tell you how to do a brake job on a large truck like a dump truck where it has rear disc brakes. Most of the videos you're going to see online have drum brakes. This is disc brakes. First thing you do is take off the two big tires. You'll need an impact wrench that's 1 inch to do that. And take the tires and set them aside. And then the next thing I did was remove the caliper. The caliper was malfunctioning and was only working on one side. This caliper is the normal thickness, rotor. This rotor is normal thickness. The inside is worn in half because it was rubbing metal on metal. These brake pads do not come with a squeaker, and I could not hear the brake pads destroying the rotor. So now it's been removed. We need to take the hub off to be able to get the rotor off. And on these you have to take the axle out. Here I've taken the nuts off the axle, loosen them all up. They have a tapered spring thing here to keep it tight. That's got to be jarred loose with a big hammer. So I'm going to put all the nuts back on and leave them at the ends of the stud, so that when I hammer it with a big hammer, sledgehammer, in case I hit one of these, it won't tear up the threads. Okay, I've already hit it about 5 times. You really have to whack it here in the center several times. Almost there. Okay, can you see these little tapered sleeves are starting to come out? You could just gently tap them out. And you sometimes get right behind the axle and spread it apart like that. You stop. Put a little penetrating oil on these little sleeves that are trying to come out. We'll help loosen them a little bit now. The oil can get in there. Take a little screwdriver, a big screwdriver, push between the axle and the hub, and wedge it. It's starting to come out now. You do this all the way around. Okay, now I've taken all the nuts off, and these little tapered splines have to be individually removed. They're not really threaded, but it helps sometimes to turn them with the threads counterclockwise, take them off. Okay, that's what they look like. And they have a little split in them, so they'll expand and contract when you compress them together. I'll take the rest of these off and we'll start the video again. Okay, I found another way to take these splines out. Take a small screwdriver, drive it in the little slot, and then twist the slot, the tapered sleeve counterclockwise, and it doesn't scar it up so much. Okay, now we're taking the axle out. It's held in there with a little silicone gasket. And you place the axle over there on a dry towel, something to keep it clean. Okay, we're going to remove this big nut here. Inside there is a little keeper that keeps it from turning. We've got to turn the tip back a little bit. Looks like this one only has one tit, so that usually you have 2. So we're gonna rotate the gear counterclockwise. Now we're taking the nut off, big nut. You want to place it in a bucket, clean bucket, so that you can put it back on the same way you took it out. Now we're removing this little keeper spring. Just have to pry it out. And it has a little slot that it can only go in one way. You want to be sure to put that in the basket the way it came out. And then neither one of these nuts are very tight, because you over tighten them and you'll burn out a bearing. When I retighten this later on, it'll be snug it down and back off a quarter to half a turn. You don't want much pressure on that bearing at all. We're going to take the main bearing out. Almost fell out. Nice and clean bearing. It gets lubricated with the oil from the differential. And then we'll remove the hub. Stuff the end of the hub with paper towel so no dirt gets in there. And we're going to gently take this off. It's pretty heavy. Down, flip it on its back, and then we're going to take the rotor off, but we're going to take all these bolts off and replace this with a new rotor. Okay, put some paper towels in the other end of the hub so dirt doesn't get down on the clean part. I think I'll need another towel. And then take out, you can see how badly worn the rotor is from metal rubbing on metal. The brake pad was totally chewed up. I'm going to take all these bolts off here with our impact wrench. The old rotor has been removed, and we need to replace the grease seal. You can see this one moves a little bit. I've already pried it out of the hole. There's a video online on how to remove a grease seal, but basically you take a crowbar like this and hammer on the other end until it keeps coming up and up and up, and then when one side comes out, it'll come all the way out. You can also watch the video how to replace the seal. The new seal goes in like this, and it has to be gently tapped down equally on both sides. Here's another reason you know that you need to replace your grease seal, is that the tire on the inside is totally filled with grease and dirt. That will be power washed, so it'll be nice and clean, so we can detect grease leaks or oil leaks in the future. Okay, to tap in a grease seal like this, you get it lined up, place the board over the whole thing, and start tapping. And look at it as it goes down to see where you need to tap to keep it level. This side's down further, so we need to tap more on the back side. I'll keep doing it until it's all the way down. It's important to clean the shaft where the grease seal will run. Take a little emery cloth and clean off the burrs or any buildup of grease or dirt around along the edge, all the way around. And then spray with brake parts cleaner and dry that off. It'll be nice and clean. Then you want to lubricate this with a little oil so that the new seal will slip on there easy the first time. Just some regular gear oil or 30-weight oil. Okay, the grease seal is in, and the new rotor has been placed on the hub. Got all the bolts hand threaded, started, and then you use an impact wrench to tighten up Start opposite corners. Get them all down, and then you go back and recheck them. Okay, we got the hub on the shaft. We got the parts cleaned here at the end of the shaft. And we start putting the bearings and the keeper rings in here. Shove the bearing in all the way. And you get your first locking nut. And you get that started on there. And you over tighten it. You can get a special tool for this. Now we have both of the axle nuts on. They're to be torqued down at 200 pounds to make sure the bearings are seat, then back it totally off, then torque it down 50 pounds, and then that's the inside ring, and then you back it off a quarter turn. So basically you end up with the inner nut finger tight only, so the bearing has no drag on it. And then there are little retaining clips here. You can bend over one for the inside and then one for or two for the outside big nut, and that keeps it from coming unspun. Next we'll put the calipers on. We're putting the brake pads on. The smaller one goes inside. Got that little groove. And then the large one goes out here. This is the big caliper, double piston. Start it right there. And you let it rest on the bottom. Then it goes in like that. And the only thing that holds it in is this little sliding spring clip. Spring clip goes underneath there. Slide the spring clip in, and you may have to tap it in just a little bit. And line up this hole with a groove. And we have a nut that comes with the kit. It already has a thread lock on it. Okay, we're gonna put the axle in. We have this all cleaned off. Use brake liner cleaner, brake parts cleaner. Get it nice and clean. Don't need a paper gasket. We're going to use ultra blue silicone or a gasket maker. So you want to put a little bit everywhere, all the way around the stud, and you keep doing this all the way around. You can see the inside of the axle surface is cleaned really good, and brake part cleaner to get it nice and dry. We put the axle right down the center, and it'll take some jiggling to get it into place. The gears line up. There it goes. And you turn this so they line up. Okay. And we put the little taper things that have a slit in them. It's what centers it and drives it up. We do that all the way around, and then we put the lock nuts on it. And then you torque them down. I use a 1/2-inch impact wrench at a low setting, and usually that gets it started, then I go back and retorque it. Okay, that's basically how you do a disc brake job on a big truck. You'll have to have someone help you bleed the air out of the brake lines. Make sure you keep plenty of fluid in the reservoir. And also go online to look at some more YouTubes of how to torque the bearings, review that, and how to replace the seal. All these things maybe seem difficult if it's your first time, but give it a try. Look at a lot of videos and you'll understand how to do a brake job. Thank you. This is Wayne. See you later.